What about you? Do you want kids? I want to know. I'm
Do I
curious.
want kids?
And then answer this, but then tell me. I want you to tell me a story, a crazy story, because like everybody knows now, we grew up with nothing, and everybody knows like, oh, when I have money, like, what am I gonna do? And I want to know, like, okay, all the cards are lined up. I want to know crazy story. But tell me how many kids you want.
Yeah, I want 2 kids.
Just 2.
Yeah.
Okay.
2 I feel is enough. You know, I feel as though like I don't need to go through a process 7 times. And as you said, those kids end up having kids, and like I would rather be able to really put my time and attention, you know, because I guess in the same, like, it's split focus, you know, when you have that many kids. And for me, I think at first I thought like as a dad, especially obviously because I never really had a dad, my biological father and my stepdad wouldn't really consider a dad, and it's basically exactly everything not to being a man. So I always thought like being a good father meant being around a lot. And I guess in recent years, I've actually started to realize it's not so much how much you're around, it's more like how impactful you are when you're there. But still, to be able to, you know, to be impactful, like I feel as though, I don't know if I could do that, if I could dilute myself that much to 7, 8 kids and really be as impactful and teach them as much as I would want to teach them. So that's why for me, I want to have 2. I want to have them in my late 30s, which obviously is quite different to you. For me, and I guess that's kind of why I asked the question. And I mean, in all fairness, so I always tell people, you know, if you want if you want to look at an example for the most righteous way to live, probably don't look at me. You know, I think I'm probably the only person online or in our space who's like, I am a fucking degenerate. Like, that's why I do my monk mode, because it's like I'm one or the other, right? That's why I have a second home in Cape Town, because I go to Cape Town because I can't party, I can't this, and you know, quite frankly, there I don't want to. You know, I'm just there in nature, full focus. You know, and that's that. But the other, you know, 6 months a year, 4 months a year, like, I mean, you've seen kind of what I'm like in London when I'm back here, and I mean, you know, I don't even want to begin with the Dubai escapades. You know, so for me, as I said, I want to have kids when I'm in my late 30s, because for me personally, kind of what I was saying, I have friends of mine who are 22 who are multimillionaires and they're getting married, right? And like, that's beautiful. And I from the bottom of my heart, I wish I was like that. And maybe if I, you know, had a better example growing up, or like I just had certain things in my childhood that made me a certain way. And like, for me, I just can't do that. So I want to get married. I'm very much looking forward to fatherhood, and I'm very much looking forward to having a wife, and a monogamous one wife, right? But if I get married in 3 years, I will cheat undoubtedly, not even a question, because and you know, people look at that and they'd be like, oh, but that's crazy, how could you cheat and this and that. It's like, okay, well, you try being in your 20s making 8 figures plus a year. You know, probably by the time I'm 30, I'll have $100 million in the bank, not $15 million like I do now, right? And you try having that, so having all that money, that power, and then having, you know, we also have social media presence, right? It's not massive, but, you know, social media helps a lot in that department. And having all that temptation around, for me, I know myself, and I would personally feel like I missed out on those experiences, right? And of everyone I know in their 20s, I've had the craziest experiences in life. I mean, you know, I've done the crazy 3-ways on a beach, you know, in foreign countries. I've done I'm sure we can get to some of this stuff, but you know, I've had all that stuff. But still, I would feel like if I'm married right now, you know, there would be that part of me that feels like, you know, I didn't. And here's the thing: there's aspects in your life. Like for me, I'm a person like, I don't like balance. I like to push the extremes. Okay. I like to push extreme in business, with my health, with my social life, with everything I do. What I do, my common trend is and that's one of the reasons I feel as though I am where I am in life, is I push the extreme and I take it to a 10 out of 10, and then I integrate. And I'm like, okay, how do I actually bring it now and integrate it into my normal life in a sort of healthy way, in a way that, you know, I can kind of manage and upkeep. So yeah, you know, for me, dude, I would love to, you know, I think I kind of told you the other day, like, man, I've met so many women. Like I already know who I would want my wife to be, you know. And I hear a lot of days, you know, a lot of times these days, like guys are like, oh, I can't find amazing women. I can't find. But you're looking in the wrong fucking place. Like I meet a new amazing woman every single week.
Yeah, but I was gonna say these people are not like you, Iman. And something I wanted to touch on was I really respect your self-awareness in saying that you think you're gonna cheat, because something that you have is an abundance of girls that probably want to be with you, and so that temptation you're gonna have to face that temptation to such a degree that most people will never have to. So it's gonna be extremely hard. I forgot there was a point somewhere in there.
You know, one interesting point about that, if I was to ever get married, I would never live in a major metropolitan city.
Really? Like
if
off
I
the
was
country or something?
Huh?
Where
You have
live?
to. I'm telling you right now, if you get married at 25, leave.
I was
Leave
gonna
it.
move into the mountains.
I mean, no matter what, I know that was your goal or whatever. Anyways, but dude, there's too much temptation. Right? There's too much temptation. The entire world is set up in a sexualized manner, and that's just kind of like the modern world we live in, right?
Yeah.
And you know that's why marriages don't work, because everything in our society is set up for people to fail, right? And it's basically hard coded in. And as I said, you know, at least I have enough self-awareness. You know, for me, you know, I've had monogamous relationships. Do I think I'd get in a monogamous relationship right now? No. And once again, I'm self-aware to know that. But you know, could I and be faithful 100%? Because I know, you know, it might last. You know, and I've had like multi-year relationships in the past. You know, and there've been beautiful experiences, and like these are, you know, really like honestly, I would consider, you know, I've met a soulmate in the past, right? But I can do a monogamous relationship for, you know, 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, hey, maybe even 4 years, knowing that realistically, anyone I meet at this age, I'm not going to marry, right? So, yeah, you know, I could do a monogamous.